At 40, you didn't even know how to use Microsoft Word.
No, I didn't know how
you knew nothing about computers.
No.
And yet, in less than a decade, you've become one of the top information security professionals.
Yeah.
Not only in Texas, but in the United States.
Yeah.
So tell them this, look, so I'm lying. You tell them. I'm lying. I'm exaggerating. You tell them.
Don't forget, I didn't have the corporate culture. I didn't have the proper work ethics. So I'll get to the office and I'll have earphones in my ears, maybe listening to Sonia Day and just generally doing my work and shaking my head. After like 3 weeks, they sacked me. I got another one. I got the third one. That one I was really enjoying. It's really nice. The manager took me out for lunch and he was telling me how he has a bachelor's degree. And I started talking about, me too, I have bachelor's degree. You have bachelor's degree. We finished the conversation. The next day, I was wearing my shoe to resume in the office and I got a text from the recruiter. Sorry, yesterday will be your last day on the job, blah, blah, blah. So I called one of the employees, like, what happened? They told me not to come again. I said, well, you're not the one telling them that you have bachelor's degree. The man is scared that you might want to take his job someday. So he called the recruiting agency and fired you. For everybody that is intending to pack their bag, one major thing that I would advise you do, you will do a lot within a very short time.
They say that life begins at 40, and people think it's just an axiom that people say. But my guest today actually typifies that. This is one of the stories that has greatly interested me. I literally had to stalk him down for this interview. He has an inspiring story for those who think that it might be too late, because we live in the day of youth. It's always been youth, you have time. And all of a sudden, when you go past 40 and things have not quite sat down as you hoped when you were younger, you think life is over. But it's just amazing how much he has done in just a couple of years. I literally mean a couple of years, the shortest amount of time. And I just thought that you should hear from the horse's mouth, as they say. Dr. Precious.
No,
Chief engineer. Did you say I should just put pastor?
Yeah,
but I didn't think. Okay, so we didn't even discuss that. Are you still a pastor?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But most people know me as that. But maybe if we had done this interview end of September, I probably would be referred to as doctor, because I would have been done with my doctorate by then.
Awesome. So, Dr. Precious, but you used to be. So you told me this. See, here's the thing. You told me this amazing story. You've told it to me now twice. And as I told you the last time we were speaking, as you were just speaking and I was looking at you, you kept wondering, you said, won't you talk? So I said, look, I think it is not fair for only me to be hearing this amazing story. Please let me just put a camera in front of you and then we'll just do our gist. We'll just do our gist because people should. I know that there are loads of people who will benefit from this. So essentially, this is what you told me. If I had to put your story, if I had to round it up, at 40, you didn't even know how to use Microsoft Word.
No, I didn't know how to.
You knew nothing about computers.
No.
And yet, in less than a decade, you've become one of the top information security professionals.
Yeah.
Not only in Texas, but in the United States.
Yeah.
So tell them this, look, so I'm lying. You tell them. I'm lying. I'm exaggerating. You tell them.
So prior to when I was 40, of course, I did a whole lot in Nigeria. I had pastored several campus fellowships. I had organized some of the biggest youth conferences at the National Stadium. So when I moved here, it was a rude shock because I wanted to integrate myself into the corporate world, but I didn't have the skill. My younger ones were concerned when I was talking about moving here, and they would say it among themselves, what can he do? He can't sit down and work 8 to 5. He doesn't know how to use the computer. He doesn't. I didn't see it as though they were being rude or because they were right. I didn't know how to use all these things. I didn't have the soft skill. So it was a confusing environment. It was a confusing period. However, I knew in my mind when I set out on the journey that my mind is open to learn. My mind is open to learn new skill. One of the challenges we have in Nigeria or Africa is sometimes the moment you cross 40 and people around you on your streets and they start bowing down to greet you, suddenly in your mind you feel like you're so old. Then you find yourself, you start wearing native, you start wearing pumps, sandal, and everybody is bowing down to greet you. It's registering something in the mind. The worst of it, maybe your kids are now maybe in the university. As far as you're concerned, somewhere at the back of your head, you're like, I'm winding up if anything happens today, if anything happens to me, then, maybe you go to church and like, Jesus can come anytime. Somehow you're winding up through your conversation with people, through what you get in your environment, and it's affecting you and you do not know. So I didn't allow those kind of stuff to get to me. Even though I didn't have any skill to integrate myself into this new environment, I told myself that I can learn anything. I can improve myself. I can learn anything. There was a lot of mental battle. Should I go into the story?
Yeah, please. Look, I'm just saying, as I told you, I paused you when we had our conversation the last time. I said, just stop there. Look, I want to hear the story. So let me just put a camera. You just speak. So please just talk. I want to hear how you came into the system, how you got here, how you were able to transition without knowing any IT, knowing any computer. And now you are a top information security expert. So please just.
So Teju, so I was driving Uber. My younger brother, he was in New York. He was also driving Uber. Then in the evening, I would walk in the old people's home and work with dementia patients and all those kind of stuff. But one of those days, there was a particular elderly man that had had an accident and he had a fracture on his neck. But he had dementia, so he doesn't remember things. And I'm supposed to attend to him. But he had had that fracture before I resumed. So some policemen came while I was on duty and they were questioning him. Like, the former person taking care of you, did he push you? Do you remember him pushing you? And the man was like, no. Did anybody push you from the back? Like, they were really trying to put words in that man's mouth so that he could say that the guy that was there before me pushed him. And I was listening. That was my last day on that job. I couldn't take it. Like, what? So I focused on my Uber and I was driving it. Then I met a friend that asked me about a particular accounting skill. Oh, can you do it? I don't like calculation. I don't like accounting. So I said no. He was like, no, this is not calculation. This is not accounting. I can teach you. Well, she taught me and I was failing interviews. I did the first one, I failed the second one. By the time I was doing maybe the fifth or sixth one, I checked the people interviewing me. That particular interview was a senior manager, VP. Like, this one just wants to disgrace me. Well, I'll just go there and play. I know I can pass. So I just went there and I was just generally... So the interview tension, I had failed. Do you understand? I was not afraid of failing just an extra one. But they just liked the fact that I was very, very free. during the interview, and they gave me the job. Don't forget, I didn't have the corporate culture. I didn't have the proper work ethics. So I'll get to the office and I'll have earphones in my ears, maybe listening to Sonia Day and just generally doing my work and shaking my head. After like 3 weeks, they sacked me. I got another one. I got another one. Those ones, I don't even remember why they sacked me after 2 weeks. I got the third one. That one I was really enjoying. It's really nice. The manager took me out for lunch and he was telling me how he has a bachelor's degree. And I started talking about, me too, I have bachelor's degree. You have bachelor's degree. We finished the conversation. The next day, I was wearing my shoe to resume in the office and I got a text from the recruiter. Sorry, yesterday will be your last day on the job, blah, blah, blah. So I called one of the employees, like, what happened? They told me not to come again. I said, well, you're not the one telling them that you have bachelor's degree. The man is scared that you might want to take his job someday. So he called the recruiting agency and fired you. But we see, with all this, I was learning lessons. It's not everything you say in the office. I was learning work ethics. I was learning work culture. So by the time I got like the fourth or fifth one, I had become good on the job. Now, because I've been to like 4 different companies, I understood this particular career area from 4 different angles. In corporate America, if you're working, you're only seeing one angle. You're only seeing what you are assigned to do. But by the time you have worked in several companies, you would have seen that particular process from different angles. So I came up with an outline, a teaching outline. And I started telling my younger one, I can teach you so that you can also get this particular job. You will make $27 an hour or $25 an hour. And they looked at me, brother, this is not Bible. Don't say you will teach us anything. Just let us be doing what we are doing. I called cousins. Nobody answered me. My friends, nobody took me serious. Like, you want to teach us skill. This is not conference. This is not youth conference in Nigeria. So I met an elderly friend that said, Precious, you don't offer to teach people things for free. Nobody is going to respect what you have or what you're about to teach. So I said, so what should I charge? Maybe I should charge them like $100. He said, no, put $1,000 and tell them to come to the class. I'm like, no, that's too high. Then he said, I think this pastor thing is affecting your head. Put a price on your skill. So I said, okay, $700. And I put it on my status. And I got my first ever phone call. I've been trying to get people to come and take this class for free for almost 6 months. Nobody came, Teju. I put $700 and the first person came. I thought the person went to bring his cousin. I thought the cousin went to bring friends. So sometimes I'm going home on Saturday and maybe I have like $7,000 from 10 different people that came to take the class. And one of the people that I took probably knew my younger one. By that time, I stopped disturbing my younger one. And that one went to meet them. I'm like, are you people all right? Your brother is empowering people and teaching them skills into the corporate world. You guys are driving Uber. So they called me on the phone like, please come and teach us. I'm like, you know what that taught me? Don't look for people's validation. If I had listened and I wanted their validation, I wouldn't pursue this particular area. But I just pushed everybody aside, forgot about everybody's opinion, and I focused. Now, because this skill is a basic skill, I mean, I can teach it in 1.5 hours and get you empowered for a job. it was easy to have other people replicate my teachings. So you had other people using my outline to start teaching people all over the US. So I decided maybe I should go and learn a more difficult skill that is difficult to replicate.
Wait, hold that thought. Sorry to interrupt you. It wasn't just that. You told me an interesting story. I don't know if you want to share that.
Tell me.
They invited you somewhere to come and teach them.
Oh.
And then they placed people in the audience. Do you want to say that story?
Oh, yes, I will.
Okay.
So a group had invited me. There were about 150 of them. And because they're like a Christian community, I'm like, I'll do it for free. I'm not going to charge.
Well, sorry, that's not what you called it to me. You're trying to be politically correct and religiously correct. So you might not want to say it, but I remember. I think you said it was a church.
Yeah,
okay, let's call it a Christian club. Okay, Christian. Because people will think it's a Christian social club.
No, it's not.
It was a church.
It was a church. So
okay.
I'm like, I'm not going to charge you guys. I mean, you have a lot of people that need jobs. So I'm just going to empower you all. But apparently there were people there that were placed there to probably understudy what I was teaching and got my outline. And the moment I was done and I left, they just took my outline and put a price on it. So assuming I was charging like 700, they're like, okay, I can teach you for 350. So that affected the market. So I had a lot of potential students that were, and I thought that was all right because I mean the skill was easy to teach. In such situation, I wouldn't grumble. I'll just go for something tougher that you can't easily replicate. So someone had told me about IT, but I didn't think I could do IT. I mean, by this time I was already like 41 going to 42. In the basic accounting, whatever that I was doing, I was already enjoying the office. They liked me in the office. Everything was nice. But I like the name. I like it when they call somebody, oh, as an IT security person. I just like it. Like, and because I like it, I'm like, let me give it a shot. So I registered for the class and I went. The first class was horrible. I got back home, I told my wife, I said, I don't think my brain is working as it should. That the guy was talking, but I wasn't getting it. I was older than everybody in class. So the guy teaching was even trying to be very respectful. Pastor, please, can you just explain what I just explained? What he just explained was entering here and go, I couldn't retain it. You know when you are in class and you are having headache and you are struggling. I mean, at 40-something, I was struggling to grasp. And we had some younger people in class, they understood it. By the time the guy says A, they know the next one is B, C, D. And they all sat down together. So I sat down towards the back as the elderly person in class. And you know, when you don't understand things, you have a way of opening your eye as if it's your eyes. So I got home and I told my wife, I don't think this is for me. I don't think this career is for me. So they started asking me, Abi, you will do teacher? Since maybe in Nigeria you were teaching people the word of God, maybe you teach biology. Or will you, all sorts of suggestions, will you do nursing? All sorts of suggestions.
I mean, apology is not like there's anything bad with it. It's just,
there's nothing bad, but you see, if you don't know where you are going, different people will be so. Some people will call, hi, pastor. Maybe you tell him that there might be some churches around that are looking for pastors. Maybe since that's a skill he has, maybe he can go around. So I did my resume, printed it out, and I started looking for churches around to go and drop that. I did Miracle in Nigeria.
I did miracle.
Help me. I dropped resume in several. So, and these churches, it's not like they have their doors open during the week. So when you get there, it's not like you're going to meet anybody. They only open on Wednesdays and Sundays. So the doors will be locked. So I was dropping my resume by their door in case somebody sees it and they want an assistant pastor or a pastor. So throughout that period, I was kind of confused. So one day I sat down and I asked myself, when little children in their nursery school, I remember they write things like A for apple and they make it big and colorful on the wall. And that helps their minds to capture it. Why don't I write these concepts that they are teaching us in class and put it on the wall so my head, my brain can capture it? So I went to Office Depot. In Office Depot, they sell some giant Post-its. Most of us, we have all these small Post-its that we put, but they sell giant ones. So I bought them and I started writing all the definitions of all the concepts, putting different colored marker, and I pasted it all over the wall of the room. I will sit down on the floor at night and be reading so that it can enter my brain. Then I took my phone. I recorded a whole textbook inside my phone, like I was reading it into it. So when I'm driving Uber, I can be listening to it. Teju, if you want knowledge, you will use every means available to suck it inside you. I knew I can't read like a university student that goes to the library and is studying. So you had to come up with other methods. KB used to grab the concept. I came up with all these other methods. By week 3 or week 4 in the class, I was the one doing tutorial for the people in class. I had understood the concepts because I spent time on it. So I had understood it. When I got into the career and I got my job, I started telling people, I can teach you, I can guide you. And God gave me a particular kind of gift. I have the ability to break down difficult concepts into very simple formats for people that are not even literate in that line of career to understand. So that helped me to be able to mentor hundreds of people in this area. The ability to break down difficult concepts just for people to understand. So from there, I started doing free trainings for young Nigerians. So I have a platform that does free cybersecurity trainings for young Nigerians, on African, Ghanaians, all of them, trying to get into cybersecurity. I think last year we did for like 6,000 people. This year we've done about 4,000 already. I'm busy in school, so I don't have as much time this year as I did last year, but I should be done with school maybe like October. So I'll try and do something before the year is over.
Did you know that there are more pathways for emigrating or for moving to America than any other country in the world? It is just that a lot of people don't have access to the right information about which visas they should be applying for. And this is sad because out of the many legal pathways to come to America, there are 2 that are given the greater preference or that are given the greatest preference than all of the others. You don't have to show that you have employment in the United States of America or that somebody is going to employ you. You can file for yourself by yourself, and you can be done with the whole process between 6 and 18 months. In fact, for some of us watching this right now, you could become a permanent resident before the end of this year. If you'd like to know more, just click on the link below or the link in my bio, or just pause this video and copy out the address and paste it in your browser. Okay, so much to unpack. First of all, when you say school, what school?
So I took up my doctoral program in information systems.
Okay.
And the reason is when we were talking, there was something you said that this place you can learn to improve on your value so that perhaps tomorrow the Nigerian government invites you to come and help with something. You're bringing value. I see this place as a training ground. So when I was coming, I saw it as a training ground that I'm going to improve myself. I'm going to make myself an authority in what I have put my hands on, so that anywhere in the world, or if the government of my country needs me tomorrow, I will be able to take up the task. Most times when people are trying to transition into career, they are looking for money. I know money is important, but first of all, look for skill. Try to know it beyond anything. The job will come. So when I'm training people, I tell them, I'm not training you to get a job. I'm training you to know it. The guy that knows it will surely get a job. But if you don't know it, even if you get a job by miracle, they will still sack you. Because you can't now do the job by miracle. You can't do everyday task by miracle. You understand?
Yeah.
So I'm an advocate for knowing it. Be good at what you do. Yeah.
Okay, so but why leave Nigeria? Because I've had this conversation with quite a few friends who I mean now, so I'm not as young as I used to be. I mean, 40th birthday party was a few years ago. And so my friends and my contemporaries.
You look so young.
Well, we
You look
thank
like
God.
31.
You're too kind.
30.
You know, as an aside, somebody told me, said, Egbon, you're in America now. You are a young boy. He said, Egbon, you are a small boy, you are a young boy. Forget who you used to be. Behave like you look. He said, you are a young man. Now behave as if you don't have a wife and children. I mean, responsibly so. I'm not saying forget them, but when you come outside, behave as if you're young. I'm like, well, I will try. But the weight of, with all humility, the weight of wisdom and experience that I carry makes it hard to shake off who I am.
You've been on stage for a long time. Long time.
Yeah, so my friends and contemporaries are in my age bracket, give or take a few years. And so their thing is, you hear them say stuff like, look, I want to leave Nigeria. I want to leave for the kids. I want to leave for the future. I want to leave for my future. At the very least, I want to have another option, or I want to give myself another experience. If this is where we've been for 40 years or more primarily, I think that I should expose myself to something else for a couple of years. But what am I going to do? So they stay in what I'd like to think is the comfort zone, and I'm not judging them. So what would make a person who was about 40 and who was a pastor of you were quite a big pastor, you know, you were coordinating the youth arm of one of Africa's largest Christian networks, one of Africa's largest churches. I mean, what would compel you to leave all of that and come to America? And as you've admitted, you had no skills, you had no technical skills, you had no quality. I mean, why would you leave in the first place?
I think I saw another phase of my life. I saw it even though most people didn't see it, and they won't see it. You're the only one that will see it. But I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to connect it. I all the things I had done them, but I was going to move to a different phase of empowering intellectuals. I knew that was where I was going, but I didn't know how to get there. But I'll tell you something, Tedru. For everybody that is intending to pack their bag, one major thing that I would advise you do is spend some quiet time to talk to your creator.
Look, you're speaking my words.
Yes.
That's the Bori Esoro. Bori Ejiro. That's it.
The reason why I'm saying it is because if he goes with you, you will do a lot within a very short time. I have this friend that moved to the UK, and when he was leaving, this was what I told him. I said, first talk to your creator. It is your creator that will guide you to the right people, because there have been people that have been guided to meet the wrong people. There are people that came here and in 3 years they were in jail. There are people that came here in 10 years, they still don't have the work permit or any of those things. There are people that came here, they've been here 15 years, Teju, and they are struggling hard. They don't go back to Nigeria because there is no way to go. There is no money for flight tickets. They are living from hand to mouth. So it's something that you first of all need to sit back. I'm not saying go to church and go and shout in prayer. No, this is not about shouting. Sometimes this is about kneeling down in your living room alone at 4 a.m. when the whole house is sleeping and talk to the creator of your destiny. When I came, one of the first people that I met, I told you this story. His name is Akin, Brother Akin. He's older than me, so I call him Brother Akin. Brother Akin will come to my house. I didn't invite him. He's the one that will say, are you at home? And he will come. Then when he comes, like, let's go out. I didn't have a job then. I'll get into his car. He drives this Benz, so he will drive me around town. Then we'll go to an expensive restaurant. He will order for food. I'll eat. At the end of the day, maybe we have eaten $250. I'll see him signing that in. Hey, God, see the way this man is blowing money. But I'll keep quiet. He won't say a word. Then he'll drive me back home. Do you want to go out again on Thursday? Yes. On Thursday, he will come again. Maybe take me to a very luxury kind of cinema. They serve food. Then he'll bring me back home. By the time this thing was going to be like 4 or 5 times, I had to ask him, what do? Because I told my wife that I'm suspicious, so I'm not sure. What do you want?
This one that you are whining and dining me. What are you looking for here?
And he's not a talker like that.
What are you hoping will happen here?
He's not a talker. So, how are you finding the food? Are you done? Okay, let's go. So, when I said, what do you want? He said, Precious, I see a giant in you.
And your name is Precious, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
he said, Precious, I see a giant in you. But I know that the challenges that you have faced have beat you down so much. I take you to this restaurant so that if you see the life there and the people there, I might wake up that giant inside of you. He said, I'm trying to wake up that giant. How many friends? I mean, it takes God guiding such friends to you. He was the one that later on suggested information technology. And he was like, you can even work from home. If you want to go back to Nigeria, you can even get one that allows you to work anywhere in the world. And you go with your laptop. I'm like, there's a job like that? He said, yes, there are opportunities here. So that's why I said that talk to your creator so that you will make the right connection. The person that will tell you the right kind of skill for you to get into. Then meet the right tutor. There are so many people out there that just want to collect money from people that are just coming in. They know you're just coming in, so they just package this course together. They're not particular about you getting into knowledge and being deep in it. But with proper guidance, you will meet the right person. I mean, God has blessed me with some fantastic mentors in this field. If I think of Mayowa Adebayo, I think of LG, I think of Mr. Sojid. He lives in the UK. So these are resources that they've been in the career much longer than myself. So they're able to guide, like, okay, this is how you do this project. Oh, okay, come to my house. I will take you on a 4-day program on this. Sometimes it's not easy getting those kind of people, Tej. Because people don't open up to tell you what they do or how they do it or how they got into it. People don't talk about it. So that's why you need to talk to your creator to guide your steps right.
Okay. So much to unpack from there. See, so first of all, people don't tell you. I have a belief, or I've heard it said, that it seems that because when people come in, they suffer. They do all sorts of things before they find their feet. So it's almost as if they believe that anybody who is coming into must suffer before those. Maybe that's why they don't tell you what they do, because I find that very amazing. Why don't people share?
Sometimes if they tell you immediately, you're not going to value it.
Okay.
Because when you come in like that, people that just come in, they have this habit of talking to many people. So you talk to this one and say, it's clinical research. Or you talk to this one and say, it's business analysis, data analytics. So they talk to many people. So when they are talking to me, I'm quiet because I know they're still going to go and talk to many, many people. So sometimes you want them to exhaust all their talk. It might take them 4-5 months. Then they will now calm down to listen. So I think that's the reason why there's just this habit of talking. My brother is in Scrum. He does project management. But do you know that I don't know any of his clique in Scrum? He's focused on his career. He doesn't know any of my own clique in information security. What I'm trying to tell you is face what you are doing. Each one of this career has a headway of great success, but face it. Don't be studying business analysis and be talking to people doing clinical research in the evening and be going to parties with people doing. You'll be confused. Find out the governing body for the business analysis you're doing. Join that group. Do they meet on Fridays? Go there. Make new friends in that field. Don't be a law student that is friends with someone in biochemistry, the way we are in Nigeria. So people don't stay focused on what they want to achieve. They're talking too much. So people here, when you're just coming and you're talking to me, I know you're still going to go talk to other people. And I know if I tell you things, you're going to go quote me. So people here are very conscious of, if I tell you, you're going to go tell a lot of it. So first of all, go. It's when you are tired. Yeah.
Okay, so for somebody who is desperate right now, who is watching this, as you said, they've been here a couple of years, things are not just working out for them. And they probably also think that they have no proclivity. They have no inherent ability so this is your testimony, which is why it just interests me and fascinates me so much. You have no head for figures. At least you didn't think you did. No. You don't like math. You knew nothing about technology. And here you are, an information security expert. It's unbelievable. By the way, how many years did that take you from, in fact, that's not even the first question. The first question that should proceed is that you learned this account thing, right? And then people started to replicate your model for teaching because it was a low-hanging fruit, right? And so you proposed to yourself that you were going to go and learn something more difficult. So that's what you proposed. So you purposely went to look for something more difficult. That's how you ended up in information security. Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because I had a meeting with Pastor Samadeyemi, and Pastor Samadeyemi had told me that bring value to the marketplace, the market will pay for it. Just bring value. So, of course, I brought that accounting value. Everybody rushed it. It was good. But let me bring something that is not common, so people can seek to meet me and have it. I don't have to have 50 people in class, but if I could have 10 people in class they're paying so much to be in that class and they see it as a privilege and they are more serious. Yeah, so I just saw it from that angle.
Okay, so from the time you decided on, so you could have, I mean, why not? So why not go and learn? Okay, it would be silly to say why
Maybe
not go and
coding.
learn medicine. Why not go and learn some other difficult thing? Why did you decide that for somebody who has no proclivity or love for technical things in terms of the computer or online, why did you decide that it was information security that you were going to do?
So there are different aspects to information security or to IT. There is the very technical aspect. There are the analytical aspects that deal with governance, processes. So if you are someone that is trying to get in and you love technical things, you love mathematics, you love all those kind of stuff, yeah, the technical area is for you. If you read English in your bachelor's or law or philosophy or psychology, the analytical aspect is more ideal for you. So there are different aspects, and each of these aspects complements themselves. I would explain to you. Someone that is that's a developer, maybe develops application. There's a way that they don't see risk. Yes. So because when technical people don't see risk, they're like, oh, I built that application. Anybody can sign into it. And you're like, okay, do you configure it so that people can use strong password if they want to sign into it? Well, the application is not doing any critical thing in the organization. It's just for marking attendance. So we don't need to configure so that people can use easy password. So can the application be hacked? Yes, it can be hacked, but nobody who wants to hack application that they are using for attendance. Nobody wants to hack it. But can it be hacked? Yes, it can be hacked, but nobody wants to hack it. So if it is hacked, can the hacker link other or company application through it? But nobody wants to do it. So you see, the technical guy is talking and the analytical risk guy is talking. For you to talk like the analytical risk guy, you have to have an analytical mind. So like somebody like you, these are the questions that you ask, probing questions. And that's what I do in the office. I'm like a policeman. I'm questioning you. I'm asking you, why didn't you follow this process? Oh, and you're giving me a reason. I'm like, but the policy states that you should follow this process. Okay, let's go back to the policy. What does it state? Yeah. So if you think like that, if you can catch people. I told someone one time, I said, don't lie to me. I'm trained to catch people that lie. That's what I do every day in the office. Except I'm just quiet and I don't want to talk, but don't lie.
Okay, so this is what you've said in effect, that anybody can do what you do with the proper training. If a person lands here from, in fact, that was what I was going to ask you initially, a person who is frustrated, who is at the end of their rope, who's been here for a couple of years, they've tried several things for whatever reason, it's not just working out. You're saying that anybody can get into what you do?
You have to be hungry though. Because I mean, I did in one of my videos and I said, when people come to my class, I normally ask them, okay, did you just lose your job? Are you owing somebody? Sometimes if nothing is pursuing you and you are just very comfortable, I'm just thinking of learning something new. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in future. You will learn it and just leave it. It's the hungry people that can wake up. I told you I read a whole textbook into my phone. It takes a whole lot of hunger to do that. I wanted to know it. I wanted to be able to walk into a boardroom and people are sitting down and they know that knowledge has come in. I wanted to be able to give my views and people listen. I wanted to have white people in boardroom and teach them things. That's what I wanted. So I don't know what you want. I don't know if it's knowledge you want or you want a Benz. So most people, if it's money, then you're not going to give attention to class. Because you are hoping that, I'm just hoping that maybe my first interview. So I taught a class and a student said, by the power of God, my first interview is what I'll get the job from my first interview. Then I said, why? I don't just want to go through by God's Spirit. I said, no, why? guy that fails 20 interviews and you that you got it from the first one, the stamina is different. The knowledge is different. He has learned so many things through those 20 failures that you have not learned. You're going to get to the office and you're going to be weak. And we are not here to destroy the companies that these people have built for 600 years, for 300 years. So you better get knowledge. We're here to enhance. We're here to contribute. So let's come with that attitude that we're coming to contribute to the system. So let that make us learn rather than, if they just pay me that money. It's not money. It doesn't have to be money. Get knowledge. Money will come.
Yeah, but a desperate person, as you said, being the ideal candidate, a desperate person would be looking for money. They'd want to get out of a bind. That's what would be propelling them. This person who is drowning in debt, this person who doesn't know where the next month, this month's rent is coming from.
Are you desperate for knowledge?
Well, so that's the thing. A desperate person, I'm not sure they are desperate for knowledge as much as they are desperate for survival. They just want to pay their bills.
So for the survival, you can drive several extra hours of Uber. Okay. Yeah, you can drive extra hours. You can take up a job at Walmart and combine all that. But it has to be a desperation for knowledge, to become somebody, to be able to walk into a room and command power. That has to be the desperation.
Okay, so I think when it comes to career, I think in a linear way. I'm not quite the kind of person who thinks you can do this and do that. My tendency is to go all in. If this is what you're going to do, then be that and be the champion at that. That's my tendency. And you've spoken to that a bit, but I must ask, what is the end game here for somebody who gets into IT? For example, I think I asked you in one of our previous conversations, where was the place for what we usually passion or gift or talent or natural proclivities or destiny? We tell people to find your destiny and seek out your calling and your talent. I mean, that's not what you did. So where's the place for talent and destiny and passion and calling and all of that inside all of this?
Sometimes when you're doing stuff like this and you love it and you put your whole heart in it, I'll say it again, and you put your whole heart in it, God said, my son, give me your heart. If you put your heart, it becomes your passion. It becomes what you love. You see, we had limited opportunities in Nigeria. So you ask a child, what's your passion? I like to sing. And the opportunity is very limited. We don't have as many careers in Nigeria as we have here. Here, you will discover some gifts that you have that you didn't know that you have. I didn't know I could teach IT. I didn't know I can.
So when hunger propels you to go and find work, you will now discover gifts and passions that you didn't even know you had.
You didn't know it will come out.
Out of your belly will flow.
It will come out. So sometimes our exposure, where we're coming from, makes our choices limited. For example, when you say you think in a linear pattern and you're thinking, okay, this career, I follow it to the end. You can do this career while following it to the end. You're still doing your show. You are still following that to the end. I have IT guys that are DJs over the weekend.
They keep telling me that and I don't believe it. They keep, I must have lost count of the number of people who think that I should be doing something in IT. And they are thinking, which is valid. And I think I share that with you, is the fact that, look, you're in America right now. You should be in America, right? You should find something or a career path that takes you mainstream America. In fact, I told you that you at this point, Precious, you had done something that even the biggest companies in Nigeria who come to open branches in America, they have not done, because they come to open branches in America and it's only Nigerians that patronize those businesses. Mm-hmm. However, you have broken into mainstream America.
Yeah.
You're not only working with Americans, you're training and raising up Americans. So people come at me like that, you should do something else. But again, I think linear, I'm going to go all in this one area.
You'll be amazed what you can do, because we have the time. your corporate job is just 8 to 5. After 5, you have all the time. Weekends, you have all the time. So what are you doing with it? I mean, I'm doing my doctorate. I train over the weekend. I work for company during the week. And I'm thinking, when I'm done with my doctorate in September, October, what should I do? What program should I take up? What career, what other thing do I want to take up over the weekend? Because the opportunities are here. And everyone is exciting. You have so much time that you're not even maximizing.
So why not go all in on what you already do on the weekends?
What is all in? Okay, what am I going to be doing over the weekend? Office job ends on Friday, 5 p.m. So what do I do?
You learn more about the office job so you can get promoted to the next level.
Get promoted to the next level.
Or become better in that thing that you're doing. So while other people are going to do other stuff, you go all in that one direction. I do realize that it's a risky strategy, but it's a strategy that has a lot of upside if it works.
So when you talk about get promoted to the next level, it almost sounding like Nigeria to me. For example, my manager at work right now, the difference between my salary and his might just be maybe $10,000, right? If you break that down to months or weekly, it might just be maybe $250. So there are people that I don't want your level. I don't want to be coordinating 11 people in the office. I don't want to be responsible for them just because of an extra $200. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at, okay, you can also advance yourself in this career by taking up a master's program, a doctoral program, so that maybe when you get to your 60s, you might just even want to lecture in the evening in one of the universities and teach them artificial intelligence. You don't even have to get to your 60s. You might want to even go to Nigeria for 3 months and take up young people on artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. They will respect you more. You will bring more value into the nation rather than beyond praying for them. You will be able to do something about the economy of
Sorry,
Africa.
I was writing. Did you just say beyond praying for them?
Beyond praying for them, because we have to give them something other than praying that God will bless them. We have been praying. Let us give them value. My organization, I have a consulting firm that is working on having American companies outsource jobs to Africans. Because I challenged them. I said, you're bringing all this cybersecurity certification. You want them to write the exam. So where is the job? Are you not aware that there are no jobs in Africa? So why are you guys giving India jobs and you're not giving us? So start thinking about it. Start thinking about telling your companies to outsource jobs to Nigerians. Let Nigerians be in Nigeria and they're able to make dollars. Let them be able to make dollars. They won't. I mean, who's going to go and start rushing to get your visa? They're already there. They're making money. So we're just like 6 hour difference from you guys. Is it 6 hours? Yeah.
Well, 6 hours now. It's going to be 7 hours when it gets cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by 2 p.m. in Nigeria, it's just 8 a.m. here. We can work with you guys. They're like, wow. So they've started talking to organizations now on outsourcing jobs, because you cannot just be saying you want Africa to have this certification. No, talk about Africa getting jobs, outsource jobs to them, not just to India.
Okay, well, until that happens, I've been on a crusade for people that I know who are in their 40s or 40-ish, circa 40, give or take a few years. Following, but I'd had that mindset before, but upon hearing your story, I have been doubling down on that. I've been saying to them that, look, if you're 20 or you're 30, in your early 30s, yeah, you can still stay in Nigeria and still stay in Africa and keep on keeping on, especially if you don't have dependents. But if you begin to approach and you are at or beyond the 40-mile marker, and you have dependents and things haven't worked out thus far, you need to be finding your way to America now. and talking to people like Precious, because there is no other location that gives you the impetus to turn your life around in the shortest possible time than America. So am I saying the wrong thing?
No, you're not. You also have to give them the proper orientation about the appropriate path to go. People want to come, but how do they get their work papers? How do they navigate all that area? I don't normally, because I'm not into immigration stuff, so I can empower you with a skill. I can guide you on how to get into the corporate world. Well, I might not be the right person to tell you about
the path to follow. That is taken for granted in my question. My question is that if you can follow the right path, if it is not, because remember that I'd spoken of my friends who, for whatever reason, can actually come, but are afraid to come. What will I do?
They should call me.
They should call you. Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
They should call me.
If America is even if it's even remotely a possibility for you, if you can afford, if you have a passport, especially those of you who've been traveling for a minute, you have numerous visas. If you can come to America, if you can follow the path, and here you are approaching 40, you're in your 40, and things are not working out. It's not so. I tell them, look, it's not as if America is perfect. Have you ever seen the news? It's not perfect at all.
But it gives you opportunity.
Exactly. But as far as giving you an opportunity to turn your life around in the shortest, you will not believe what can happen.
I mean, I was telling you, like, if you're going to introduce me in October, you're going to say Dr. Precious. And I'm thinking, in information systems, how did I, from where to where? But thank God for this kind of country that has given the right environment to help us actualize our dreams, so that even if we decide to go back to Nigeria, we're going back with value. If I move back today, oh boy, I'm much better off than when I came.
But you're not an if person, because one of the things we spoke about first of all was you're very big on exit strategies. So you're not even an if I move back. You actually do want to move back, at least. Well, maybe not all the way, but you want to have significant presence in Nigeria.
I told you, have your entry strategy, but also have your exit strategy from the system. The place is not so encouraging by the time you start getting older, 65, 67, the cold, everything, you might just want to be amongst your people. Yeah, so you must have that at the back of your mind. Don't be too excited. Don't eat burger and forget, like, you came here at 40, you didn't come here at 20. So these are things that I tell my younger ones. Have your exit strategy. Exit strategy from all the credit card debt, from all the car notes, from all the mortgage. What is your exit strategy? From having the system just totally handcuff you to the point that at 70, you still have to go and get a job in Walmart. I mean, I don't want to be throwing trash away when I'm 60. I don't want to be in Nigeria, I'm like a king, like, go get me that. I don't want to be doing that. I mean, some people, maybe they're comfortable with that, but not me. And we're all different.
But can't you build wealth in America till you get to that level?
Home is home, Tedru. I want to come out of my balcony and just speak Yoruba to people. I just want to be home.
Kind of a game mentality. You want to come out and say, Yatoyin.
Don't you like it? I just want to be home. Do you understand? Home is home. I want to get into, when I'm in Nigeria and I walk into GT Bank and I'm like, oh my God, I can't balance it. The fact that you can speak your language, the fact that you're among people that look like you, and you came, I came here for a particular assignment, and I think I'm winding up on that assignment already. So, home is... But
then you and I discussed further on that, is that we realize that that home thing that pulls us is we realize that it is for us.
Not for the
We
kids.
have to
Yes.
accede
Yes.
and know that it is for us. The kids are most likely not.
The kids are Americans.
They're Americans. They're not going
They
to
can't
go over.
You know, my kids get confused when I take them to Nigeria often. So maybe we're in the plane, we're coming down, we get to the luggage section, we get our luggage, and somebody is like trying to touch our luggage. Come on there, what do you need to touch my luggage for? And my kids are shocked. They just see another person. Mr. Man, come on for road, you they block road. So they see someone different from their dad that they knew in America. How are they going to switch? That world is different for them. They can't really function in that world. You can't. If you have the mind, or I'm taking them back, you just want to go and suffer them. But for us, as you get to monitor Ahmed Airport, you know that you change. Has it happened to you?
Oh yeah.
As you land like this, your brain will just change. Everything will just change. The way you talk will change. The way
you reset to factory set.
everything. But the moment you get here again, they can't function like that.
Okay, there was something you said. Let me take you back to work, and that question has just been knocking at the back of my mind. So you had said that you wanted to. So you went in on information security. You did everything you needed to learn because you wanted to become an expert in that area. You wanted to walk into the boardroom. I believe that was what you said. You want to walk into the boardroom and be able to speak from a place of confidence and have them, be awed by your depth. But you also told me that it will be hard for you to not only get a job, but move on if you are very confident and very deep. In fact, that's why you lost the job. As far as your manager was concerned, you were too qualified. So how do you balance that? Because on the one hand, if you know too much and you go for an interview, they're not going to. In fact, I had never heard that till you told me. They're not going to hire you if you're too confident and you know too much.
Yeah. So there has to be a balance. For example, a manager is interviewing you for maybe an information security analyst role, and you have strong depth, you're good. You have touched several regulatory engagements that even the manager has not touched. Don't forget that they do repetitive things here. So if you are to move this stuff from here to here, that's all you do for the next 20 years. So imagine you have worked with like 6-7 companies. You have moved this, you have exchanged this, you have fixed this. During interview, there's a way you have to calm down on your being assertive, or else the manager interviewing you is going to feel uncomfortable. Don't forget, he wants you in the team. He wants to be a mentor to you. So by the time you are talking as if you're going to be his mentor. So sometimes we pipe down. I have a friend, he's very good. He's one of the best in Dallas. But I know he won't be able to pass an interview because he's very confident. His aura fills the room. Who will give him a job? For him to get a job, he has to really pipe low. You will say things that you are sure of as if you are not sure of it. It's just wisdom.
I believe the Yoruba slang or word is dibon.
You have to project that.
Okay, I think for people who might be confused by that, I think a more practical way of explaining it is to say something that I heard a very top prosecutor, a lawyer, say once. He was preparing the witness, and he said that, look, whatever I ask you, even when you know the answer to the question, don't answer me immediately. Take a beat and think about it for 2 seconds and then answer. If I ask you, what is your date of birth? Don't just say 1st of January 1922. Say 1st of January 1920. He said the reason why it's important to do that is because if you answer what you know very quickly and very fast, when it gets to what you're uncomfortable with and you pause, the person who is cross-examining you, if he's very good, he will take notice that in that area you pause, so he will begin to press down on that area. So pause with all your questions. It's called the 2 or 3 minute gap, and some of the most successful people in the world did it. I think Steve Jobs did it.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a more practical. When they are interviewing you, when they ask you, pause. Smile, say well, and then talk a bit, and then
and I also learned you don't have to answer all their questions. There are some that be like, oh, I've never heard of that. I'll go study it and check it out.
Even if you know it.
If you know it, talk about it, but don't come up so strong. But if you're applying for maybe a much more senior role, a director role, of course you can bring all that into it. But if the role you're applying for is still under a manager, you don't want to come too strong.
Okay, so let's do a timeline. Let's do a timeline for somebody who wants to come in here from, say, Nigeria today. They also they're looking to turn their lives around in the shortest possible time. And because they now know you, they've watched this interview now, they now know what to do. They know they can reach out to you. Let's say they land today. How much resources should they plan to have? How many months resources should they plan to have while they get into what you do? In short, how long will it take them before they get a job, so to speak? So realistically speaking.
So we're just going to gently launch them in. So you're not just going to come in and we'll be dishing out all the IT concepts to you. There is the accounting stuff that we talked about.
Yeah.
So
is that still a viable thing that you will teach people?
I still teach it. I still taught it last week.
I think it's called accounts payable. Accounts payable. Okay.
Account payable, account receivable. So we can gently land you on that. Do that for a couple of months, 6, 7, 8 months, even 1 year. Then, by being in the environment, you can now decide. You might want to do project management. You might want.
Sorry, I missed that. Did you say 6, 7, 8 months?
6, 7, 8 months, or even 1 year. By that time, you will now decide. Maybe I want to be a project manager. Maybe I want to be into data analytics. So you have spent enough time in the environment. You've spoken to people. You are able to decide on what you want. But this account payable will open the door for you. And it is a low pressure job. You're not in the office and somebody is hounding over you. You don't touch your phone, don't take your phone, don't stand up. You have to stand up to do the work. No, it's such a relaxed job that by the time you're done at 4 p.m., you can even still go to the gym, come back home still looking fresh. It's not going to stress you out. One of my fears when I first came and I saw the way Nigerians were working in warehouse and doing a lot of those hard jobs was I was afraid for them, especially for the men, because they're going to have arthritis soon. You might be getting the dollars, but in like 2-3 years, you're going to use the dollars to treat yourself. You're going to have arthritis. You're going to have several kinds of bone issues. So as you're coming at that age, you don't also need a job that will tell on your health. You need something cool and calm.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so to be clear, I asked that because one of the things, and we spoke about that, one of the things that I feel compelled, I feel constrained, I feel called, I feel a responsibility to do is to begin to show people the proper path to, come here. So it's very important to underscore again that, look, if you're going to get, say, an extraordinary ability visa to come to America, for example, you are coming to give to America what you already did and that made you a master in your country. So say you're a musician, say you're a comedian, say you're a computer scientist even, say you're an actor, say you're a baker, say you're a business person, whatever else you do that made you outstanding, you are now committing to America that you're coming to do that. And so when you come in, you must do that as well. But as you're doing that, what I hear you saying over and over again is that you can do this as well.
Yeah.
And this doesn't affect that.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, this can make that better because you now have the resources to be able to do that without looking for.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. If I want to start a church in America now, it's easy for me. I get a venue. I can pay 2 years ahead for the venue and have it. If you want to be a musician, just first get something that pays the bill, because the bills just keep coming to your face. So get something that takes care of that, so that you'll be calm enough to do other things. By the time you get something that takes care of the bill and you still have a lot left, you can do your passion. If your passion is to cook, you can now be cooking. My younger sister cooks. She caters at events. But on Monday, she's in front of her system doing one of the skills that I taught her. On Monday, she's in front of her system. On Friday, she's cooking and going for event. Her husband, on Monday, Tuesday to Friday, he's in front of his system. By Saturday, he's making suya for events.
And here you are, Asu master.
And I make
By the way, we didn't even mention that.
Asu,
the best Asu in Dallas.
Exactly. The weekend, people make orders. I make it for them, and they come. They send Uber to pick it up. Extra money.
Okay, so as I begin to round up, give me a timeline, because if I'm that kind of person who is watching this, I have my mindset. My mindset is analytical. I want to know. So first of all, how old were you when you came into America? Not for the first time, to stay.
To stay, I think I was around between 40 and I think I was around 40. No, 41.
So you were 41. So how long from that time to when you turned the corner as far as getting your finances right?
It's different for different people. So I know.
No, for you.
Yeah,
we all have, I understand that we all have different journeys.
Yes.
Yours is not going to be mine, but you're the subject of the inspiration here. And so bearing in mind that we're all going to have different journeys.
It's going to take you maybe like 6 years. Just give me like 6 years.
Is that 6 years of suffering or?
No, 6 years of continually moving up till you become strong.
Oh, till you get to financial independence.
Yes, that's what I mean. Give me like 6 years.
Okay.
For getting in to actually start something, if you're going to work with something like account payable, give it like 1 month or 2 months. I can get the door open for you. The training is just going to be a weekend and get you ready for it. So within 1 month or 2 months, you can get that settled. And as you keep earning money, you can keep now upscaling.
Okay. Final question, I hope, because I still have so much to ask you. We keep hearing about these layoffs in IT and all of that. They just laid up. In fact, I was watching a documentary on YouTube just last week that spoke about how the biggest companies are laying people off in IT and all of that. So it seems it can be scary. Are there jobs? Is a person going to come and train for in information security? By the way, a question to that. How long does your training take before a person can begin to look for a job in information security?
It's about a 2 months training.
2 months. Is that 2 months every day or once a week?
Once a week on Saturday.
On Saturdays, okay. All day, just a couple of hours?
About 4 or 5 hours on Saturday.
Okay, on Saturday. And it can be virtual?
It's always virtual.
So, okay, great. So 2 months and all of that. So they train for 2 months. Are there jobs in this thing, or are they trying? In fact, this is what I'm trying to ask. In IT, is the supply more than the demand? Are there more jobs than there are people looking for jobs? Or are there more people looking for jobs than there are jobs?
So if you check the job site, you see thousands of jobs. Oh. We have people outside looking for jobs, but we have people that are not. We have a lot of incompetent people. I've been opportune to interview people. It's always a sad thing for me. Like, I'm asking you the easiest question and you can't even answer it. That's why I said, if you know your game, you will get a job. The most important thing is have the skill. Of course, we are always hearing of layoff. This is America. We always hear of, layoff. Maybe they are not hiring. Election is coming. Companies are trying to look at their budget. They don't know who's going to win yet. So they're not just going to be dishing out budgets without knowing the pathway for the country. But as I told you, it's not when you are thirsty that you go to the river.
Yes.
Get the skill first. If there is no job as it should in September, October, by November, job will open up. So get the skill first. This is America. There will always be job. And the governments there's always pressure on them to provide job. So it's not Nigeria where,
Okay. Awesome. Finally, I'm saying that for the second time. I already said finally. Did I see a video of you? Somebody sent a video of you to me. You're in a suit and you were singing. You were joining a couple.
Yeah.
And you were singing. And you had the most terrible voice ever.
What was that song again?
You were singing. Ewe ni kaja kama ulego. Kama ule.
Who sent it to
you? Ewe ni kaja. I forget who sent it to me.
Kama ulego. Ewe ni kaja. Kama ulego.
You know, I mean, I can sing it easier because Sonny Ade sang it. So
yes.
I know, I think I saw it on your page as well, but somebody sent it to me as well. So are you a pastor that goes to a church to preach as well?
I officiate weddings. I go to church to preach. I get a lot of church invites. Sometimes I have to travel out of Dallas for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have a church of your own.
I don't. I probably will soon, but I don't presently. Yeah.
Why not?
Why don't I have?
Yeah.
And when you come to a country like this, you first of all want to understand the country. If I want to start a church here, it's not a Nigerian church. It's not a Nigerian kind of communication. It's not a Nigerian congregation. So sometimes I feel like we rush into things without understanding our environment. I could start a church in Lagos and grow it to like 1,000 within 3 months. I understand Lagos, but I don't know this place. They are the kind of jokes that people they understand. So you have to live with them. How do you do your children's church? Access management. It's not just gather children. Children's church is not a second thought. Like, just gather them in that room. That's the main church. If the children don't like your church, the parents won't come. So there's a lot of dynamics to church here than we have in Africa.
Awesome. Dr. Precious Oshideko, I have a lot more to ask you, as you might imagine.
This has been a long one.
Yeah. As you might imagine. Let's just leave it there for now. Thank you so much for sharing this story.
You,
it's been interesting. You should know that you're my first non-celebrity interview, and I was looking forward to this one.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
For me, one of my favorite sayings in life is one of my favorite pieces of wisdom is the saying that life begins at 40. And I believe that the flip side of that saying is that a fool at 40 is a fool forever. Between those two things, life begins at 40 and that a fool at 40 is a fool forever. You have wisdom you have principal wisdom as to the times and the seasons of life. Of course, the immortal Fela Anikulapo Kuti said in the record Monkey Banana that la 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 la, you can la la for me, la 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 la. Okay, I mean obviously that's not what he said. It's just that I like that bit of the music so much that I couldn't now sing what he said without just saying that part first. But this is what he said. Fool for 40, na fool forever. Na so the book people they talk. I no go tell my brother like that. I go tell him, realize you be fool at 20. Fool na fool no matter for age. 15 to 30, 40 to 100. Fela essentially saying that, look, you don't have to be 40 to be smart, to stop doing silly things. And he was right. Technically, you don't have to be 40 to come into principal wisdom. But that is not how it is usually, practically. Practically, for most of us in life, we're not going to figure it out until we're circa 40, give or take a few years. And I say this to speak to two people. First of all, if you're the younger person who has made it in your 20s and in your 30s, look, I'm very happy for you, but you are it's not a precarious situation. There's a degree to which those who haven't made it should envy you, but you have not done all of the work. Because you see, you have to get into the second half of life. And those two things are distinctly different, or those two phases are distinctly different. I promise you that who you were or you who you are right now as a younger person is not who you're going to be past 40. There are two distinct halves of life. There's your younger person and there's the person that you become as you grow older. And the Omoluabis, the Omoluabi people, the Yoruba people, they have countless sayings to, encapsulate that. Jeje legun agbajo, agbalagba ke soro bi ewe, and so on and so forth. Who you become as an older person in your second half of life should be radically and vastly different from who you were in the first half, even though the second half builds on who you were as the first half. So that you made it in the first half should make the second half easier, but that's not the case. It usually makes it harder because the second half, it demands certain virtues from you, like nobility, not seeking the spotlight, wisdom, giving back. And because you made it in your youth, it's always hard for you to give up the things of youth. So if you're a younger person who has made it, congratulations, but know that you will have to navigate the turbulent transition from the first half to the second half. You are not done yet. They don't hand prizes out in the first half. It's in the second half. No football team is given the trophy at the end of the first half. Never. There is no team that is given the accolades and the wreaths and the trophies at the end of the first half or the first quarter. You have to play the game till the end. That is why King Solomon said that the end of a matter is necessarily better than the beginning. In fact, the Bible says in another place, the glory of the latter is greater than the glory of the former. Even though in that case it was qualifying something else, but the principle remains the same. So again, younger person, I am happy for you that you've made it, but you haven't made it yet. As the Omoluabi say again, Igbenyi in Lalayuta. Now I come to the older person who is 40 and beyond. If you're that person who hasn't quite made it as you think, it is not too late. And you just heard Precious Oshideko tell you that much. This was a man who came into the United States past 40, and he was, in a manner of speaking at that point, stuck. He didn't know anything about computer school, not even use Microsoft Word. And yet today is one of the leading information security experts, not only in the DFW area of the United States, but in the United States at large. He learned all of that between when he was 41, 42, and when he turned 50, which was just recent, or which was recently. So your life just started. In the years it will take you from between when you're 40 to when you're 60, you will not believe what you can achieve, especially if you're in an environment or an economy or a system that accelerates your dedicated work like the United States. But you can do it anywhere really. Where you live is up to you and your destiny, or as I like to say, your Ori. You get to make that decision. I will never forget something that my father told me when he was 73, which was the same year that he died. My father said to me that if I were a younger man now, if I were a younger man and I had the opportunities that you and your generation have, you will see what, in fact, it was in Yoruba that he said it. He said, you will see what I will do, but it was in the Omoluabi language that he said it. He said, Kakpe mo yongini, if I were a younger man, or wari begun ti joloja. Literal translation, because I don't want to give my editor a problem in trying to translate this or subtitle it. I'll just tell you what it means. Literally, it means that if I were a younger man, then I would carry my masquerade, and with the strength to dance, I would dance in such a way in the market square with my masquerade that I will wow everybody. I will dance so much that everybody will be wowed. You will see how a young masquerade in his prime or at his prime dances in the market square or during the festival. And you know what it means. I mean, I don't have to tell you the metaphorical meaning. It just means that he said that if he had the strength of a younger person, he will do awesome things. But this is where I'm going. This was the message. He now said, and then he said to me, he said, and when I mean younger, I don't mean as young as you are, because I was 32 at that time. He said, I don't need to be in my 30s. He said, when I mean younger, I mean that if I were even in my 50s right now, if I were a 55-year-old man, you will see the things that I will do. So my father considered a 55-year-old man a young man relative to his own age of 73. And I've heard that from older people over and over again. You see 85-year-old men referring to men who are 60 as young men. You are not, look, this is why they say health is wealth. As long as you can get up and go, oh boy, you have so much you can do. And then when you're in your 40s, you're practically a baby. At 40, you just became sentient, which means you just became truly wise. You have just woken up. Everything that you did from when you were 18 or 20 to when you were 40, all that was just prep work. You should have ironed out and, beaten out all your foolishness. Now that you're 40, 41, 42, 43, 45, 46, 47, when you're circa that age, now you should know enough to begin to work at it. You should Google the story of Ray Kroc, the founder of, or rather the man, not the founder, but the man who principally brought McDonald's to us, the fast food joint, McDonald's, Mickey D. Go read the story of Ray Kroc. He was past 50, he was diabetic, or was it that he had a heart problem? Whatever. He was a guy who should have been washed out past 50. He was a salesman that was going nowhere fast until he got the epiphany of McDonald's past 50. But because he had paid his dues, he had seen life and he had his head screwed on straight. The strides that he made. Now, who doesn't know McDonald's at past 50? So again, if you're past 40 and finally you figured it out, you're ready to let go of all this pride and all this ego and all these things of youth. You're ready to relinquish those things. You're ready to abnegate and abjure them, and you're ready to face life. I say congratulations, especially again, if you're in the right system and the right economy, you're going to do awesome things. So what if you're not in the right economy? Well, the Omoluabi say that you need to figure out where you are right now should be where you're supposed to be. And of course, part of your being 40 and getting your head on screwed on straight is that you probably can answer that question. So get to the right place, whatever it takes you, and then begin to do purpose, begin to do life, begin to do giving back. Again, begin to do purpose. All right, that's it. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching this one.